Hey hippies, welcome back. It's your girl Courtney Shavante, and I am back with another awesome tutorial. This one is super special to me. This one is going to be a memorial rolling tray for the rapper Young Dolph. If you already know, then you know I'm not going to be getting into the details on here. This is just something I want to do personally for myself and everything. And I also want to show you guys how I use my new shaker photo tray. So this is super awesome. This is a new mold that I have in my shop, and I'm super excited to kind of show you guys everything that I'm going to be using here. So what I'm going to be doing to start off is I'm going to mix 60 milliliters of resin with glitter. I am using my glitter mix in Rich. I feel like it was fitting for this. I'm going to be pouring this right into the border of the rim and everything. So 60 milliliters does fill that up quite nicely and everything. You're just going to make sure you get all the bubbles out the best you can while you're mixing, and then you're just going to go ahead and pour this glitter resin mixture right into that rim and everything. All right, so yeah, just go ahead and scrape it out if necessary. Spray some alcohol. You don't want to overflow this, and then you just let this cure. Once this has had a chance to cure, what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and prep another 100 milliliters of resin. I also have some LED lights and a pearl strand and this 4x6 photo of Young Dolph that I will be putting into the middle of the tray. So the tray is set to, the tray is made to, use a 4x6 photo. I don't know a better way to say that, but yeah, so you can get one printed off at CVS, Walmart. I actually went to Walmart to get this printed out, and I'm just pouring resin on the front of the photo and also in the middle, and starting with one side I'm going to press it down and then let it kind of fold itself down naturally, and then from here you're going to use a silicone mixing brush to just go ahead and push out any excess resin so you can push that photo closer towards that mold surface and everything. From here you're just going to continue pouring resin, and you want to pour a nice even coat and everything so it kind of touches the little space around the rim. Now along the rim you're going to place these pearl trim chain that I have here. I have it available in my shop where I put them inside my mystery boxes. If you guys are interested in seeing them in more quantities and everything or by themselves, just let me know in the comments. I'll be more than happy to get that taken care of for you guys. Just holla at me. And I'm just clipping this into place at the corners because it doesn't go around the corners very snugly. If it's a circle, it'd probably be different, but with this being rectangular, it's not looking all that great. So I'm just clipping the edges on here so that way I can push these pearls all the way up to the edge, so that way they just kind of create this nice frame around the photo, the 4x6 photo. So it's really perfect because these pearls are actually sitting on the little ledge that you'll be using later for the film that you're going to attach to make this a shaker tray. So off camera, I did go ahead and coil these LED lights. I'll try to link below. I'll try to remember where to link this and everything. But yeah, I'll link above and everything how to coil the lights. I have another video where I showed you guys. And then from here, I'm just going to place the coiled lights into the rim of the tray on top of that glitter layer into the clear resin that we poured there. So you probably should have only poured about half of that, and after you get that down, you're just going to go ahead and pour the remaining resin. You want to completely submerge that picture and also make sure that you have resin over where the LED lights are as well, so that way everything sets into place. Use a mixing stick to spread it if necessary, and then what you're going to do is you're just going to let this cure. Do avoid heat on the photo because you don't want to damage it. Alright hippies, so once that is completely cured, what you're going to do is mix up another 100 milliliters of your resin. Pour half of that into your mica powders here. I'm going to be using mica powders and glow powder here, and I'm just going to mix this up really well. It helps to make sure that it disperses the powders really evenly, and then when I come in with the remaining resin, it's already smooth and I can just mix it on in. I'm also going to be adding in some drops of alcohol ink just to make sure I get this to the color that I want it at. So you can definitely come in with different colors and everything just to kind of manipulate it. You don't have to use just one color, so don't ever think that. Go ahead and add in some iridescent flakes as well. This is just going to add a bit more dimension and everything to this bottom layer that I'm going to be adding here. And then I'm going to pour in the remaining of that resin, and then I'm just going to make sure I have this mixed up very well. So do make sure that you are careful of the bubbles and everything, and you don't want any clear pockets either. So scrape that cup and then make sure that you whip it up really good. Remember that this is sped up, but I do take my time when I am mixing up the color and everything so I can make sure it's dispersed evenly. I'm also popping in some really fine gold glitter just to add a little bit more sparkle in there because I wasn't completely satisfied. But now that I have everything mixed up how I like it, I'm going to just go ahead and start by pouring this into the rim. You just want to pour a little bit, and I'm going to take my heat gun to move this all around. This is going to help break up any bubbles, and it's also going to help make sure that the resin flows underneath those lights where the coils may be and everything. I forgot to mention, but after this cured and off camera, I did press those lights down and everything so they weren't poking up above the silicone molds and everything, because of course, you know, it's only going to cast what's under the rim of that silicone mold, so be careful of that. And once you finish with that, just go ahead and pour in the remaining of your resin. Get all of it poured in there, get a nice even layer and everything. Get in with the heat gun again if you need to thin it out more. Spray a little bit of alcohol to pop any bubbles that do rise to the surface, and then we're going to allow this time to cure as well. Alright, so I'm going to prep about 50 milliliters of resin here, and then I'm just going to pour a nice even layer over this clear backing that we let cure in the last layer. And you're just going to smooth this all around. Use that mix stick to push the resin all around to, you know, try to get rid of any little pockets that aren't covered. Make sure you get every little piece covered, because this is going to be our very last layer, and you want this to be really smooth. Get in there with the heat gun as well if you need to blow that around and make it thinner or anything, and you know, just make sure it's spread nice and evenly. Spray your alcohol to disperse and pop any bubbles that rise to the surface after you blow with the heat gun, and then of course you're going to allow this time to cure. So while that's curing, what we're going to do is we're just going to cut the transparent film. Now I do have some angel wings just to kind of put on here and further decorate and everything, but it can be completely clear. And what you want to do is you want to cut a rectangle that's 6.25 by 4.25 inches, and that's going to fit into the mold perfectly, so that way you can enclose your little shaker bits and everything. I use that Sharpie just to kind of mark where those points were on these angel wings. I'm just going to kind of cut around that so I can make sure it's to the size that I need. And then once you get it to the size that you need, using this cutting board, which I will have linked below for you, you can go ahead and wait until everything is completely cured, and then we can go on onto our next step. Alright, so now that this is cured, it's nice and hard, we're going to just go ahead and wiggle this right from our mold. Start by pulling at the sides of it, and that's going to help release everything. You want to make sure that you don't tear your mold, so make sure that you are careful and everything. You can pull off the excess pieces as well, but making sure you loosen up the edges is going to make it easier to pop out in the middle, especially with these larger pieces. So now that I have all the sides pulled up, I can just go ahead and grab at this corner and pull up, and then from here I can release my tray. And a little bit more, pull a little bit more. Do be gentle, be careful, but this is what we have here. Now that's released, that picture is cast perfectly in this resin. There's not one bubble. So we're going to start by taking this UV resin here and these angel wings that I cut out on that transparency film, along with these charms and the same glitter mix and that rich glitter mix, which is available on my Etsy shop. It is a one-of-a-kind glitter mix, so make sure you do get it before supplies run out, because I won't be making it again. Yeah, you're just going to go ahead and start by adding the UV resin to one side of that little ledge where we place those pearls at, and then you're going to place the edge of your film right on top and just press that down. Wear gloves because you don't want to leave any fingerprints or transfer any oil from your fingers, because it can mess up what you got going on here, and you definitely don't want that. And what you're going to see me do here is I'm going to be taking a black light. This is a large black light that I have, but you don't have to get one this big. I got it from Walmart, but I'll try to find one on Amazon similar below, so that way I can link it for you hippies. But I'm just using a toothpick to kind of press down and everything. I'm using that black light to seal it and make sure that UV resin is nice and cured and everything. From here, I'm going to remove the rest of that little protective layer and pop my charms on in. From here, you can also add in the glitter as well, so that way we can go ahead and put everything that you do want into your shaker piece into there. If you have any shaker bits or anything else at all that you want to add, you can use your imagination. This space and everything does have a nice little bit of depth. It is 1/4 of an inch deep, so that way you do have a lot of space to play with and everything. I want to make sure that you can make these completely customizable. So just go ahead and go around with the UV resin and seal all the way around except for where that opening is, because you're going to want to come in with your shaker fluid later in a later step, and I'll show you guys kind of what I mean by that and everything. So just take your black light and go ahead and cure this and get it sealed and everything. I have that toothpick over there where the opening is, just to make sure that I have it from completely closing or any of the UV light dripping over and sealing it closed. And then you're just going to continue on with this. So eventually my arm did get a little tired, so what I did, just to make sure that this was completely sealed, because like I said, you don't want any leaks later, I went ahead and just propped up this black light over here in my workstation, and I closed the door and turned it on, so that way I can leave it in here for about 10 to 15 minutes or so that way it can just have its time to cure and that UV resin can get nice and hard and do what it needs to do. Here's a close-up on that toothpick that I was telling you about earlier that I was putting there and everything. But yeah, so this is what I got doing here. I'm just going to let that sit. Okay, hippie, so we're going to come in with some baby oil. I have seen people use other things for shaker fluid. I've seen them use mixes of glycerin and water, but I already have baby oil on hand, so that's what I'm using. Now, if you are going to be using baby oil, do be very, very careful, because if you are not and you get it onto the tray, it's going to be a lot of cleanup. Trust me, because I actually did that off camera and it was a hot mess. But you're just going to sneak that little needle tip in there filled with that baby oil in this little squeeze bottle that I do have linked below for you in the caption, and links to items that I use. That's always in the caption for you guys. It'll always be there, I promise. But yeah, so you're just going to squeeze that in there. You may have to refill this. I did end up having to refill this bottle like 2 more times after doing this, just so that way I can make sure that it's nice and filled. And when you fill it, alright, I was saying that when you fill it, you don't want to overfill it. You do want to leave an air bubble in there and everything. Sorry for the weird pause and everything. I know y'all heard my sister come to the stairs being all loud. That's her. Y'all always hear her in the background, and y'all always hear my disclaimers. Hi, Tony.
Hey, y'all.
And now she opening chips in the background. But what I want y'all to do is just go ahead and continue filling your shaker tray with your liquid and everything. And, you know, like I said, leave that bubble there. And then once you get to that point, I'm going to come back and tell you guys what to do from there. Alright, so once you have that little pocket there like I was talking about, you're just going to flip that little piece up, and you want to add the UV resin all around where it's not added, and then you want to seal this down. This is where I messed up previously and everything. It wasn't completely sealed, so my oil leaked, and it took a lot for me to clean up. So please make sure that you have this completely sealed at this little corner and everything, so that way you don't have to do nearly as much as what I did, because it took me like 3 more days to make this video than what it should have due to that incident. But yeah, just do the same thing that you did previously. Press down with that little toothpick and everything. Use your black light to seal that UV resin, and that's just going to make sure that we have everything nice and hard. And then we're going to let it sit, and we're going to prop it up with our black light, just like we did previously, and let this cure. Once that UV resin is completely cure, what you can do is go ahead and prep about 30 milliliters of your resin. You want it completely clear, unless you kind of want to add an effect at this point. But for what I'm doing here, since I already have the angel wings, I'm just going to be adding a clear layer, and I'm going to be spreading this on evenly, adding it on in stages as well, just so that way I can control where the resin is moving to, where it's going. And I always do the little opening part last, just so that way I can make sure that I don't have an overflow of resin before I get to that point, because that's what's going to help keep it from overflowing and everything when you're doing things like this with the heat gun, or just when it's setting and everything, because sometimes you may pour a little bit too much and you don't realize it until it's too late. But this will just help make sure that you don't have to sand down the bottom or the sides or anything like that, because I didn't have to, because I'm also working on a very even surface. I have linked below on Amazon an alternate leveling table if you guys are interested. I do definitely recommend, because it has definitely transformed my pieces, so make sure you check that out. But yeah, just go ahead and make sure you continue spreading this resin around evenly. Do what I normally do, and whatnot. Make sure there's no dips or empty spaces. Make sure it's completely covered, covered and completely even. Spray your alcohol to release any bubbles that may form at the top, and then you're going to let this cure for 24 hours. Alright hippies, so this right here is our glow show. She is so pretty. As you know, anytime I make something glow, I'm going to make it glow. So you're definitely going to be able to see this in the dark. I'm currently in my bathroom with the lights closed and all the lights out and everything. And this is what it looks like from the back and everything. I'm going to flip it back to the front. As you can see where that opening is, where that pink comes out at. Let's go ahead and click this on. Yes, this is what it looks like in the dark with the lights turned on. It is so pretty. Like, you're not gonna have any issues rolling up or anything like that. And I really love that the center of this is like a 4x6 as well. It makes it so much easier when you're putting your picture. It literally takes no cutting. You just get it printed that way. How can it get any easier? It can't. And this is also what the charms look like when it's floating around in the baby oil. Let's go ahead and go into the sunlight. So I'm outside now, and this is what it looks like outside. The angel wings are so sparkly. I love how it complements with this rich glitter mix and everything. Like, rich is definitely my favorite glitter mix of the ones that I dropped. If you haven't checked it out, make sure you do hit my Etsy shop so that way you can. I love how Dolph looks in the background of here. You know, like, he just really blinged out. This tray is blinged out. The charms are blinged out. I feel like I really did him justice with this memorial tray. Like, this loss really hurt me and everything, but I know like his family and the people who are closest to him are suffering way more than I ever could or could imagine. So my hearts definitely do go out to them and everything. And I just hope everyone is encouraged to just keep going on and chasing your dreams while you don't know, because of, you know, copyright issues and whatnot. But in the background, when I'm muting everything, I'm usually listening to a lot of his music. So I've been transferring his energy to you guys for a long time now, whether you know it or not. So, you know, I just hope that you can take his energy and put it into whatever you got going on and make some shit happen. I love you hippies. Thank you so much for supporting me. I appreciate each and every one of you. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will catch you later. XO. Mwah.